right, we have already covered an absolute ruddy boatload of non-backwards compatible games for the good old Xbox 360. But very few have been exclusive to the console, and as I don't want Mr. Copeland 1996 to grab me by my ghoulies, it's time to dive into the exclusive games that are effectively stuck in physical, ruddy, non-backwards compatible limbo.
What took you so long?
Not every game is going to be a ruddy banger, mind you, and some may be available on the old personal computer, but if Chivo Pops tickle your pickle and like me you prefer your games to be played on a console, well then we got you covered.
In the final years of the Third Age, Middle-earth stands on the brink of destruction.
Sure, I have already covered War in the North as well as Conquest in a previous video, but I foolishly left out the exclusive token-based game hiding deep in the fiery depths of the 360's vast fecking library. So let's have a waffle about Lord of the Rings Battle for Middle-earth 2, shall we? Actually, no. Let's ruddy not, as I am not the biggest real-time strategy fan, because, well, I'm a bit of a dunce. So I'm in no position to tell you if the game is good or not. But if you are a fan of Tolkien's work and think you have enough hair on your whispering eye to command the armies of good against the dark forces of Sauron, well then this game's likely to tickle that dwarf-sized pickle of yours. You're not gonna have to travel to Isengard and back to get your hands on a copy, and it's not gonna cost you much precious gold either.
For centuries, ninja have mastered the art of stealth.
In part 1 of this series, I talked about From Software's hella underrated, lightning fast, over-the-top, slicing and dicing Xbox 360 exclusive Ninja Blade. But the only problem with Ninja Blade is it missed one key ruddy ingredient of ninja life, and that's, you know, being, well, fecking sneaky, of course.
Sneaky, sir.
So yes, do go out and grab Ninja Blade, but while you're at it, also tiptoe over to and nab yourself a copy of Tenchu Z, as its ridiculous hard, ever so stealthy, patience, precision and planning based gameplay is indeed the fecking shuriken-shaped tits. Sure, it has its flaws like its camera and a fair few bugs, but when Tenchu Z all comes together and ruddy clicks, it's one of the most rewarding experiences you're likely to have on the 360. Be warned though, this one is hard as fecking nails, but the sense of achievement is indeed unrivaled. Luckily the game isn't hidden in the shadows, so won't be too difficult to hunt down, and at only £8 for a game packed with a wealth of unlockables, upgrades to master and skills to learn, then what have you got to ruddy lose?
Even though large tracts of Europe and many old and famous states have fallen, or may fall into the grip of the Gestapo and all the odious apparatus of Nazi rule, we shall not flag or faint.
While on the topic of stealth, I'd be a ruddy twit, not to mention Velvet Assassin, a game where you're tasked with assassinating cuts of fabric that are invading your land, obviously. Awful fecking jokes aside, Velvet Assassin is a pretty unique little title that sees you filling the shoes of a deadly spy turned coma-bound patient known as Violet Summer as she recollects her time fighting the German baddies.
The Germans?
With each in-game mission taking the shape in the form of one of our protagonist's memories of her time in the war, which all just boils down to a whole lot of sneaky shenanigans that you'd expect from a stealth title. You mooch around in the dark, pick off German baddies and hide their bodies, you know, the standard ruddy stuff. But I gotta say, collecting morphine in each level to prolong old Violet's life in the real world is a masterstroke of emotional storytelling that I did not fecking expect when I went into this one. Yeah, before you comment, I do know the game is available on Steam, but console-wise it's 360 or ruddy nothing, so I thought I'd mention it.
For 92 days,
Our world has crumbled. The rise of darkness has engulfed us all.
Right. Don't judge me, but I've never been the biggest fecking fan of the Dynasty Warriors games. Dynasty Warriors, however you say it. But if you do love the one-man or woman versus faceless army slicing and dicing shenanigans of the series, well, then you should steer yourself towards 99 Nights and its ruddy sequel, 99 Nights 2, as they have all the fantasy-based limb-removing, hacking and slashing antics you could ruddy ask for. And yeah, while the original game may be easy to find and inexpensive to pick up, its sequel may require to not only cut your way through an army of reseller bellends, but also it will be a smidge more costly.
The little camera goes there. You act a few little scenarios.
Remember the Xbox Live Vision camera?
What the hell is even that?
Oh, you don't. Well, you're probably not alone, but it was basically just a webcam for your 360. Personally, my favourite fecking memory of the thing was just scanning my ugly mug into Rainbow Six Vegas, which I'll admit did kinda blow my mind back then.
Wow.
However, ignore that, as the only game designed solely around Kinect's Big Brother was You're in the Movies. A party-esque game where you badly insert yourself into movie trailers by playing odd minigames. Yeah, it's a completely novel concept, but honestly it won't hold your attention that ruddy long. Yet, even with that said, it is still an iconic piece of 360 history none the fecking less.
So, you're looking to join the VD team? Well, dude, normally I would conduct exhaustive testing to see if you meet our stringent snowboarding skill levels. Turns out, I'm short-handed.
There ain't no fecker in the world that's gonna change my mind about SSX Tricky being the GOAT when it comes to snowboard video game-based ruddy shenanigans. But, as the 2012 reboot is backwards compatible, I present to you Amped Free instead. Is it any good? Well, it's a mixed fecking bag, to be honest. Sure, it does have an incredible soundtrack, a ton of content, and a unique stylistic tone unlike anything out there, but the overall core mechanics and open world just hamper the experience in my personal opinion. Yet even so, it does have a goofy charm that's kinda hard not to ruddy admire. Oh yeah. While we are on the topic of boards of the snow variety, I'll quickly just shout out Stoked and its updated / expanded follow-up, Stoked Big Air Edition, while I'm ruddy here. If you're all about that virtual shred life, well, you got free exclusives that will cost you less than a tenner. But while I do see Amped everywhere I go, I'm not sure I see the Stoked games all that ruddy often.
We are an endangered species, you and I. Lovers of speed, devotees of power, performance, and noise.
And now it's time to put the ruddy pedal to the ruddy metal and talk about some exclusive racing games for the console. But as any fan of the Xbox 360 should not need educating about the Project Gotham Racing and the Forza series, I'm just going to list them instead of rambling on about them. So, for whatever ruddy reason, likely licensing issues involving music and car sponsorships, these bangers never made the jump onto new Xbox hardware. So I say grab yourself Forza Motorsport 2, 3 and 4, as well as Horizon 2 and its collaboration with the Fast and the Furious franchise.
Family.
But there is an Xbox One version of Horizon 2, so don't panic if you can't find it. If you've still got the ruddy dosh after lobbing them onto your shelves, well then you should also steer yourself over to Project Gotham Racing 3 and 4. But as everyone and their fecking grand should own those games, let's talk about two racing titles that are a little more obscure in the forms of Import Tuner Challenge and Full Auto. If you are one of those ruddy people that prefers to tinker and meticulously fine-tune your vehicles for hours on end instead of actually, driving them, well then Import Tuner may just be your cup of tea, as the most impressive aspect of this game is sheerly its ridiculous amount of customization options that it throws at you that will keep hardcore car enthusiasts tuning to their heart's content. But other than that, there's not a whole lot to really recommend here. Sure, there is a ton to unlock, and sometimes the game can actually be pretty relaxing. However, grinding for hours in cars that look nice but handle like shit just so you can unlock a new sticker for your vehicle can only really appeal to a niche demographic of gamer. But if, like me, your idea of excessive customizable fun is attaching fecking machine guns, RPGs and ruddy shotguns to your automobile and using them to turn your opponent's vehicles into burning piles of scrap, well then Full Auto is likely to tickle that well-oiled pickle of yours. Yeah, it may not be the deepest of games, but who cares when racing, shooting and destroying everything in sight? Even the ruddy environment is just a gleefully dumb but fun, ruddy good time that will have you smiling throughout. Import Tuner Challenge is slowly rising in price and is quite sought after. However, Full Auto won't set you back too much, nor is it all that rare to stumble across.
Please, you must come with me. You're the one I've been searching for.
Looks really can be fecking deceiving, can't they? For a prime example, just look at Cep Saga. The box art hardly screams must buy, and any images you're likely to see of the game will make you think it's some sort of low poly, fantasy based Mario-esque party title. But don't be a ruddy fool and overlook this gem of a game, as once you peel back the layers, or more accurately, open the case and put the disc in the fecking tray, you'll be treated to a game that uniquely blends card-based board game-esque strategy antics with an over-the-top, goofy, melodramatic, yet distinctly charming tale.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
The best way I can describe it is it's kinda like Monopoly mixed with Risk and a bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of. Look, it's as hard to describe as it is to master, but once you do, you'll be rewarded with one of the most obscure, yet brilliant titles hiding away on the 360 that's blend of luck and skill-based fantastical shenanigans will have you playing for ruddy hours. This game didn't release over here in the UK, so you'll likely have to pay a troll a hefty toll.
I'll pay the troll toll to get this boy's soul.
To get your hands on it, but yet I suggest you do.
Good fights, bad fights, legendary struggles that shall go down in the annals of history.
The Fight Night series deserves a revival, nuff said. But they ain't ruddy exclusive to the console, yet unfortunately a game that is Don King Presents Prize Fighter, a title that tries its best to ape Fight Night by being absolutely nothing like Fight Night. As, well, it's ugly, the gameplay is tedious, and the animations are fecking awful. It may be exclusive, but Prize Fighter is a completely forgettable experience that'll likely just stay on your shelf, gathering dust just so you can impress the fairer sex by saying you've completed your 360 collection.
Do I make you randy?
I mean, it's only £1, but that pound is better off being used to buy Fight Night Round 3, or maybe that Rocky game, or even the super arcadey Facebreaker. I don't know, maybe I'm just a fecking hater, but honestly, if anyone wants my ruddy copy, well then comment below and I'll post it to you.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
Long before Red Dead Redemption 2 had gamers focusing on the ruddy weather affecting the size of their horse's old todger, there was Gun.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yeah, look, before you pull your 6-shooter out and put a virtual bullet in the dislike button, yes, I do know technically Gun was hogtied and dropped onto just about every ruddy console of the 6th generation, but when it came to the 7th gen, Neversoft only released Gun on the 360, so take it easy, partner.
I would prefer not to.
Is it much different to the previous gen? No, not really, but it does perform slightly better and look slightly better while also having the added benefit of having those sweet, oh so sweet achievement pops we all crave. And yeah, sure, while gameplay-wise it may be slightly dated by today's standards, Gun is still an action-packed, highly immersive, ruddy-rich experience that is truly memorable thanks to its emotional, revenge and redemption-driven narrative, unique characters, and overall tone. And not to forget its fast-paced, visceral gunplay that clearly laid the groundwork for Rockstar all those years later. So yeah, while Red Dead may remain king, Gun does just enough different to be a draw, even to this day. Unfortunately though, the game is becoming quite a rarity and harder to find than a baby-eating Sasquatch these days. So its price is constantly on the increase, so if you do head to your local gaming saloon and see a copy, well, scalp it into your collection before it's too late. Or, you know, you could just get it on Steam. Yeehaw! I genuinely avoid anime-based games on shows I have never watched as, well, normally I have no idea what the feck is going on and absolutely no interest in the characters. But a game I did genuinely fall in love with that actually made me a fan of the series was Naruto Rise of a Ninja, as not only does it gently fill you into the early narrative of the show that spans 80 episodes of that anime, but also its mix of platforming, adventure-esque shenanigans that revolve around leveling up, taking on side quests and collectible hunting, merged with some simple and not too deep but yet hella engaging combat, all coated in the most deep and fecking rich cel-shaded visuals to grace the console, is just honestly too good not to enjoy. Yet, as much as I did enjoy my time with the first game, I never really picked up its sequel, The Broken Bond, as it seems to be extremely difficult to find. But from my minimal research, it's just as good as the original. Rise of the Ninja isn't too pricey, nor is its sequel, but good luck finding them out in the wild. Look, before we start, Bullet Witch is available on Steam, yes, I ruddy know, but apparently the remaster somehow made an already janky, slightly meh experience even more janky and meh than it originally was. And before you roll your eyes, I am also under no illusion and understand that Bullet Witch is far from the cauldron-shaped fecking tits. But if you do go into this one with some extremely low expectations, well then the weird world of talking zombies, over-the-top melodrama, broken physics and a teeny tiny wasted witch brandishing a gun twice her size may likely put a spell on that old pickle of yours. But truthfully, Bullet Witch just boils down to being a game that's so bad that it's kinda ruddy good. And come on, at a mere £6 for a title that'll have you laughing at just how absurd it is, well, why fecking not?
During the height of the Cold War, a natural disaster left the world in chaos.
God ruddy damn, has From Software's back catalogue of games got the fecking short end of the ruddy stick when it comes to backwards compatibility. Not only did Ninja Blade and Tenchu Z fail to make the list, but also we lost out on Chromehounds, which is a flipping shame, as Chromehounds multiplayer was the mechanical tits back in the day, and unlike anything else. But alas, the servers have been long shut down. So yeah, your enjoyment of this game kinda depends on what you expect from the title, as while yes, you do pilot huge mechanical beasts equipped with enough firepower to level a small city. Surprisingly, however, Chromehounds is anything but fast-paced, explosive, mindless fun, and is more of a strategic mech simulator where taking things slow, planning attacks, commanding your units, and mastering reaction times while fine-tuning your mechanical beast is the aim of the game. And while yeah, sure, there is a ton to do in single player, the game however shined its chromy brightest in its now defunct multiplayer. So if you do pick this one up, just take that into consideration. But at only £1.50 English pennies at the time of writing, I think its over the top B-movie-esque story and its tactical mechanical warfare single player ruddy shenanigans is great value for money.
But wait! There's more!
If you couldn't tell, I've been very fecking ill when recording this. But I think that's enough for today, don't you?
What the hell is this?
I've only just scratched the surface of 360 physical, non-backwards compatible exclusives for you to have a cheeky gander at, but for now, I'm off to the pub to see if it cures me. However, I won't dilly-dally for too long, so let me know what exclusives you'd like to see me cover in the next video. Subscribe if you haven't already, make sure you share the ruddy heck out of this one, but as always, make sure you stay healthy, stay happy, and most importantly, stay tipsy.